Paterson of the Joel Paterson Trio and Devil in a Woodpile. I also play with the honky tonk band, the Western Elstons. So I'm here to talk about pedal steel guitar, guitar, everything guitar. I thought I'd show you how to set up one of these contraptions. It's quite a beast. I have a double 10 pedal steel, which is your standard 2 10-string neck pedal steels. And I'm going to show you how I set these up and my rig. And the first thing you got to get when you play your pedal steel, you got to get serious and get yourself a chair. So you got to sit down. You only want the best for your butt when you play pedal steel. And it opens up. It's called a pack-a-seat, and you can order them from a lot of custom makers on the internet. You know, I don't think any big companies make these. It's a very ma and pa operation when you play pedal steel. And this is where you store all your stuff. You need your tuner, your lots of pedal steel strings, your volume pedal. We'll be needing this. And your CDs that you hope to sell to the one steel guitar fan in the audience. Alright, very important, you need a volume pedal. This is called a Goodrich. It's a pretty well-known brand of volume pedals. But anyway, I carry a pedal steel around in 2 cases. It's called a split case. I ordered a split case from this guy named Thomas Case Company who makes them. And the legs and the rods and everything fit in here, and the actual steel guitar fits in here. Makes it a lot easier to carry with 2 hands, and usually set this up on something. You might want to. This is what an undercarriage of a pedal steel looks like. I know a lot of people don't realize how much stuff is going on under there. Every one of these things represents a certain note that's being pulled, sharp or flat, or actually, these are called knee levers. Your knees hit these, yanks on this, and actually lowers the saddle, bends the strings, sharp or flat. That's how you do that. These are what you call knee levers. When you watch somebody play pedal steel, you don't know all this is going on underneath the thing, but your knees are in here, and they're moving side to side and bending these strings. And all these represent a way just to get more chords, more licks than playing standard straight steel, where you don't have many options of playing chords. You got to bend them, slant your bar to get some chords. But there's an art to that too. Let's start setting it up. Just gonna hook up my legs. I know this is exciting stuff. This is called a pedal rack. This is what your feet stomp on these. Everything's upside down at this point, but it'll make sense in a moment. It's all related. The steel, the lap steel was the beginning of it. That's what people were playing, and then you had like a straight steel on legs that you could stand up and play, but it didn't have any foot pedals, and that's the 40s, the Western swing era. But as guys got more sophisticated, they wanted to play more chords, more jazzy chords, more country licks. They started in the early 50s. They started adding pedals to the guitar, and it kind of became this arms race to add more pedals, more changes, more notes you could bend, more fancy chords. Mainly because of Buddy Emmons, who ruined life for all of us because he added all this complicated stuff, and now we have to know how to do. Because of Buddy Emmons, Jimmy Day, those guys. Well, this is a pretty standard setup, double neck for
right.
8 foot pedals, and I'll show you what they do when we flip it over. These are called the pedal rods, and these actually connect the pedal rack and your foot pedals to the correct place, so you're bending the right notes. You got to find the right numbers, because you have to put the right one on the right thing because it's the correct length. Everything is very precise. You got to do the same thing the same way every time, or everything you do is going to be out of tune. You set it up how you like your feet to feel underneath, and then so it travels a certain distance. And there's also a way you have to tune this mechanism so everything bends a certain distance, because you have to have your strings in tune, and then you have to have your notes bent a perfect distance so you can be in tune, because you always feel like you're out of tune on this thing. It's pretty complicated. It's very hard to sit in on another person's pedal steel. There is a certain standard pedal steel setup, but people always have their knee things in different places. So you go to sit on somebody's pedal steel and their knees levers do something different. Now, most about 95% of the pedal steel you hear is on a tuning called E9, which is just these first 3 pedals and 4 knee levers, and that's how all the Nashville country stuff you hear. These pedals are for C6, which is a kind of a dying thing, but I play a lot of C6. It's a jazz tuning, so you play a lot of western swing, jazzy stuff, bluesy stuff. You don't make a lot of money playing C6. They call the E9 the money neck, because that's how all the Nashville guys make their money. I don't mind not making any money, so I'm going to play C6 because I like it. Sorry, it's taking a while. I got to put 8 of these on here.
That's okay.
This is hard to do in a bar, as you can see in the dark. This is what you do. Pedal steel players do this when all the other band members are talking to girls. We have to do this at the end of the night. Alright, here's the big moment. Now you have to get this high. Sometimes you do this on the ground and you really hurt your back trying to yank this out of here, but you have to lift this up, flip it around, bring your knee levers down, so this is where your knees are going to go. Hopefully it's all set up. And now we spend 2 hours tuning it.